Hello folks, this is Sullla speaking. You're listening to another video for League of Legends. In this game, we're going to be focusing on Azir, who was a champion who was quite popular for a long time in the competitive scene, then was nerfed a bunch, hasn't been seen as much lately, but we're going to have a chance to see some Azir gameplay in this particular match and go from there. And so we will get a chance to see some Azir. This is a game that is taken from a solo queue ranked game. I'm going to be playing this in this game as Lux, but you won't be seeing too much of me because we're going to be focusing on the random Azir player that I ended up matched up against through matchmaking. Jeez. There we go. Alright, that's what I want. Wanted to turn off the chat, didn't want to turn off the scoreboard. Azir is one of the most unique champions in League of Legends due to his Sand Soldier mechanic. He doesn't really play like any other champion. He's like a caster mage, but he mostly deals his damage by means of summoning soldiers, so they deal damage over time. He's very good at controlling a battlefield. If he has a bunch of Sand Soldiers down, it's very difficult for the enemy team to try and engage into Azir. You don't want to pick a fight where there's lots of damage being output by Sand Soldiers. That said, he is also an extremely difficult champion to play because his gameplay style doesn't really match that of anyone else in the game. He's quite unique as a champion. In particular, you can really get thrown off because due to the way that his Sand Soldiers work, if you click in certain areas, what you do is you tell your Sand Soldiers to attack instead of telling your own champion to attack, and you can actually throw yourself off really badly. So he requires a lot of practice. He is not at a particularly strong power point right now. As I said, he was really popular in the competitive scene for a while, but is not there right now. So a champion that would take a lot of time and effort to learn, but can be quite satisfying if you manage to pull it off. He is some of the best late game scaling of any caster type champion. And like I said, he's quite unique overall. Alright, so let's just look at the matchups real quick. Here in top lane, we're going to have a Kled player against a Jax player. In the jungle, we're going to have a Rek'Sai and a jungle Twitch, by the way. Yeah, jungle Twitch, not what you would expect. In the mid, we're going to focus on this Azir versus LeBlanc matchup. And then in bot, it's going to be Ashe and Lux against Misfortune and Alistar. So Twitch has taken his red buff. He's going to look for an early gank here on Azir. He's just standing there. I have no idea why he is wasting. So just pro tip, don't waste this much time if you're a jungler. He wasted like 20 seconds just standing there. He could have done, probably could have done a camp while he was wasting that time. But alright, so Twitch is going to come out, de-stealth. He's going to be looking to auto-attack. Right here, Twitch is going to flash in, but look, we see the barrier usage from Azir that's going to keep him alive. So nicely played there. Pulls out the barrier at just the right moment to avoid dying. Twitch uses his flash, and he also eats a whole bunch of damage. And meanwhile, up in top lane, Rek'Sai is going to go and look to, going to pop the flash on that Kled right there. So some early game jungler action. And in fact, this jungler action is going to continue. So let's focus on this before we go back and look at Azir. He's back at base anyway. So yeah, Twitch is looking to fight this, but Twitch really doesn't want to pick a fight with Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is a much better duelist. She is going to get that kill. Now let's see if Rek'Sai can make it out. Going to look to turn and then hop back into the tunnel. I'm going to try to juke out. Does not have flash up, so this is, not going to end well, but still gets the kill on Twitch, gets first blood. Not a bad outcome, all considered. Alright, now that we're back to lane and we're kind of done with the early jungle shenanigans, let's take a look at Azir in a little bit more detail. I'm going to start by hovering his passive here, Shurima's Legacy. Azir can summon Disc of the Sun from ruins of allied or enemy turrets. If you've played the game, you've probably seen this before. So if your team kills a turret, like let's say this turret here in mid goes down, Azir can summon a temporary tower that will take the place of the down turret. This is on a cooldown. He can't just do it whenever he feels like. I believe it's on like a 2 to 3 minute cooldown. I'd have to check, and we'll have to see if he summons one in this game. Try to check that. But it's quite interesting because you can kind of give yourself a base in enemy territory. You can summon an Azir turret on anything except the Nexus turrets. Can't do these, but you can even do it on like the base turrets here, as I understand it. So gives you kind of a safe platform. Can make it easier to take a fight in enemy territory because you have a safe place to retreat to. Pretty interesting. Kind of a very unusual passive, and something that is unique to Azir. No one else has something quite like this. Anyone remember Barrier from the early days? Not Barrier, Fortify from the early days of League of Legends? Well, it's not anything like that, but only thing I can think of that's somewhat similar. Alright, let's look at his skills. First, I'm actually going to cover his W. I believe that Azir has to take this as his first skill. Unlike most champions where you can kind of pick whatever skill you want out of the basic 3, I believe Azir has to take this as his first skill. And yes, there's lots and lots of text here. So the passive is he gets attack speed, and I believe that he gets more points in this as you skill up Azir. The active function is he summons a Sand Soldier. So we'll talk more about the Sand Soldiers in a minute. We got a little bit of a fight there. So there's a Sand Soldier going down. Azir puts it down with his W and then dashes to it with his E. But it looks like we got a 2-on-2 fight here. We've got the Rek'Sai is going to come in, going to hit the knock up there on LeBlanc. Oh, and that looks like it's going to be a 1-for-1 there. I think Rek'Sai might have been able to get out of that after getting the initial kill on Twitch. But yeah, Twitch is not off to a good start. 2 very early deaths. Twitch is not really a good jungler. He just, you know, he has the stealth ganks. That's kind of his one-trick pony thing. So if his early ganks aren't going well, he is not in good shape. Okay, so as I said anyway, though, Azir's W have to skill this first, as I understand it, summons a Sand Soldier. When Azir attacks an enemy in a soldier's range, the soldier attacks in his stead. So yeah, this is tricky. Like, if there's a soldier on the ground, and Azir clicks to attack that enemy, the soldier attacks in his stead. So like there's the soldier, you can see the attack range. If Azir like clicks on this minion here, the Sand Soldier will attack it instead of him. So again, this can get very confusing if you haven't played Azir much. But that's kind of the basic idea. Azir stores up to 2 Sand Soldiers, prepares a new one every 8 seconds, and then the rest of the text is blah blah blah. There's some reduced damage if multiple Sand Soldiers are attacking a target at once. So yeah, that's kind of the basics. Then his other skills all more or less combo off of putting down those Sand Soldiers. So W puts your Sand Soldier down, then Q is called Conquering Sands. This causes his Sand Soldiers to target a certain location. Azir sends all Sand Soldiers towards the location. Sand Soldiers deal magic damage to enemies they pass through and apply a slow. Enemies hit by multiple Sand Soldiers will not take additional damage, because otherwise this could get pretty absurd when he's got like 3 Sand Soldiers out there. So yeah, basic idea, you put them down with W. They, they will attack anything in their range around them. If Azir tells them to attack, they don't do anything on their own. You have to tell them to attack, and then you can reposition them with his Q. You get them to dive towards a turret, towards a target. So basic idea is get some Sand Soldiers down, use them to control an area, and then reposition them with the Q. And this is on a longish cooldown, medium length cooldown, 10-second cooldown. So you can't just reposition them willy-nilly. Like right there, yeah, you see it right there. Puts down the Sand Soldier, auto-attacked once, then repositioned it with Q, and got it to continue attacking. I guess another champion I'll throw out for means of comparison, a little bit like Heimerdinger and his turrets, except of course the turrets kind of do their thing automatically. Azir's Sand Soldiers do not do anything without you telling them and giving them a target to attack. So like, yeah, once again, auto-attack, and then Q over here to start hitting these enemies. So yeah, if Azir's just left alone in lane, he has a really good wave clear. It's a little trickier, obviously, if there's an enemy champion, but if it's just him, pretty easy to just sit there and have the Sand Soldiers kill everything in the minion wave. Alright, let's look at his E then. Shifting Sands. Azir shields himself for 1.5 seconds, blocks damage, then dashes to one of his Sand Soldiers, damages enemies hit along the way. If Azir hits an enemy champion, he halts his dash, instantly prepares a new Sand Soldier. So this is his repositioning skill. You saw that when Twitch came to gank him earlier on. When Twitch came to gank him, Azir tossed down a Sand Soldier and then E dashed to it. Shifting Sands is the official name. I tend to think of this just as his dash. Also shields him at the same time. Anyway, we've got a duel going on in top lane, so let's watch this while Azir's walking back to lane. Jax, let's see, it looks like, is it going to turn to a bigger fight? No, guess not. Looks like A backed off there. Meanwhile, and if you just want to check in on bottom lane, we are actually getting out-farmed in this lane, even though we've had control of the lane for most of the time, just because I think Ashe was kind of missing a lot of CS. We actually had them under their tower for most of the game up to this point, but yeah, like I said, I think Misfortune was just farming a little bit better than Ashe. So anyway, we were in this bottom lane. We were waiting to hit 6 because we get a lot more kill pressure with Ashe Arrow and Lux Laser at level 6. Alright, so then let's finish by covering the last skill here on Azir. Emperor's Divide. Azir summons a wall of armored soldiers that charge forward, knocking back enemies, dealing magic damage. The soldiers will remain as a wall for 3 seconds. Azir and his allies can pass through the wall, but enemy champions cannot. Very, very effective skill, particularly in team fights. Really good. Like I said, Azir's specialty is he controls certain parts of the map. When you put down the wall, Azir can walk through it, but the enemy champions cannot walk through it. Anyway, here Rek'Sai was coming in down in this bottom lane, and Alistar picked a really bad time to engage. He kind of dashed in and engaged on us right as Rek'Sai got there, so it was very easy to pick him off. And we also got the flash on Misfortune there as well, which would be helpful for later on in this lane. Getting back to Azir, though, as I said, with the wall, he can it will shove back anyone who hits it. Yeah, knocks back enemies. So you can reposition enemy champions. It's kind of like a big, fat version of kind of a combination of like a Lee Sin kick on Lee Sin's ultimate and knocking people back, and like a Karthus wall or an Anivia wall, in the sense that you can't really go through the wall. Maybe Anivia is kind of a better comparison. This leads to some very flashy plays that Azir would do in competitive play, where he would toss down a sand soldier and then dash to it and then flash behind an enemy champ and then put down the wall. I think that this was referred to as the Shurima shuffle when pros started to do this, and I believe that they actually nerfed Azir's ability to do this a little bit because it was getting a little too powerful in competitive play. But again, gives him just a really good option for team fighting. You don't want to fight near the sand soldiers, you don't want to fight near the wall, you don't want to get repositioned by Azir. So he is pretty weak early on, not much to speak of, relatively easy to gank. He can dash to a sand soldier, but that's about it. Relatively fragile champion, and he does have to be reasonably close to enemies in order to do a lot of his damage. Like, he can tell his sand soldiers to attack, but he can't just like poke from super long distance away like some AP mages. Anyway, Rek'Sai's coming back in for another gank here. Doesn't look like that one's going to be successful aside from popping the clone form on the LeBlanc. So for the most part, it's just been a scaling up. I wouldn't say that Azir's been doing a great job of farming. He did a nice job early in the game to dodge that Twitch gank, but otherwise has not really been under much pressure. Oh, we got a fight continuing here. So we're going to see Rek'Sai come back, use her ultimate, and pick off the LeBlanc, and then Twitch comes in, de-stealths for no clear reason, and just gets popped. And look at this, only 36 minion kills at 11 minutes. That's not going to get it done. And this Twitch is just not effective in this game right now. He has not gotten any early kills, and like I said, Twitch jungle is kind of gimmicky. You kind of need that. Alright, so let's watch this. Ash Arrow into the bot lane. I follow it up with a Lux Binding, and then we've got Rek'Sai there as well, so that's a very easy kill for us to pick up. And we'd like to get Alistar, but, you know, he's got his ult up, so we're not really going to be able to kill him. But this does clear us to go ahead and look to take this Ocean Drake, which will be quite nice. So it would be nice if Azir came to help us, because he is on full health and full mana. Doesn't really need to back there, but whatever. One thing that Azir also is quite good at doing is he's very good at taking dragons and barons, because those sand soldiers deal persistent damage over time. Azir's not really going to spike and burst you with a lot of damage all at once. I mean, he can kind of do a little bit of that with his ultimate, but for the most part, he deals damage over time, not damage in one big burst. So with his sand soldiers, he's quite good at taking dragons and barons. Now we're going to look to back. Our Azir player did go back to base there and picked up not a good item. He actually picked up a Catalyst, and this is not a good buy. Again, I don't want to give the impression that this is like a master tier Azir player or anything like that. Just somebody I happened to run into in one of my ranked games. It ended up having a good Azir game. Like, this looks pretty mediocre thus far, but we'll turn into a little bit better of a game later on. So you don't really want to go Catalyst. This is going to be built into a Rod of Ages. That's not part of the core Azir build. As I understand it, his core item is Nashor's Tooth, and the Stinger is being built into that. Azir would have done much better to just keep building towards Nashor's Tooth, because it has everything that Azir wants. It's got attack speed, it's got ability power, it's got cooldown reduction, all things that are really important to itemize on him. You don't want to build the Rod of Ages, because by the time you want to get Nashor's Tooth first. That's the key item. And if you stop to build a Rod of Ages, before you do that, you're going to get your Nashor's Tooth too late. And if you build the Nashor's Tooth first, then your Rod of Ages isn't going to be done until like 20 minutes, and that's just too late. It won't be stacked until 30 minutes, and frankly, that's too late, because most games in League are over by the 30-minute mark. So this is not a good build. Shouldn't go for this. My understanding is, let's see. So he's going to go in right there. And yes, that is a little bit of what Azir can do. So you see, toss down the Q and then dash in. Now, Alistar's coming to gank, but this has not been a particularly successful gank. As you see, Twitch dying elsewhere yet again. There is a nice use of the Emperor's Divide, though. Knocks Alistar into the tower. Alistar's going to be forced to ult. We did see the barrier use come out from Azir as well. So he defends this 2v1 gank pretty successfully there. And look, Alistar's back for more, but he does not have his ult up. And I don't know what he thinks he's doing. Like, why he's flashing in here is beyond me, because Ashe is here, and I'm roaming up from bottom lane, and there's just no way that Alistar's going to be able to escape from this. So, yeah, just bizarre play from Alistar. Absolutely no idea what he was thinking, what he was going for. And then I go for the kill on LeBlanc. Would have killed her with that laser, but she dashes out of the way. But that's not the worst thing, because I interrupt her blue pill. Prevent her from delays how long it takes for LeBlanc to get back to base, and that means because I delay her recall by 10 seconds, that means we've got all the time in the world that we need to get this tower. And hey, Azir, pretty good at knocking down these towers too, just because he gets lots of attack speed and lots of ability power. There it goes. So we get that. Jax has gotten that tower on top. And the result of those 2 tower takes really does balloon our gold lead out to over 5,000 gold. We were at like, I think, 2.5 to 3,000 gold, and now suddenly we're at 5,000 gold. And that's often kind of a key breaking point when you get that far ahead. Now, I'm not sure why Rek'Sai is going after this. Just, you know, Rek'Sai was on a killing spree and then just hands away a death for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So, like I said, this is not the highest skill tier. This is officially a bronze game, although the tier rating is like mid to low silver. But yeah, I went 2 and 8 in my placement matches and been playing my way out of bronze since then, if you missed that. Alright, so Azir has now finished the Rod of Ages and is back into lane for the moment. He is starting to get quite strong though. 94 CS is not great. It's a little bit lower. You really would like to be at like 120, 130 here, but it's okay. It's not terrible. And now that he's gotten more points in his skills and he's starting to get some ability power, he's going to start hitting harder and harder, and it will be easier for him to clear these waves. He just chose to skill his Q first. And this makes sense because you do need to reposition the Sand Soldiers. So I went ahead and skilled Q first and skilling W second. More points in the W looks like it does grant you more Sand Soldiers faster. Also gives you more passive attack speed, so that's also quite nice. And then E is pretty clearly your 1-point skill. You don't need multiple points in this skill to get like a bigger shield. Azir is not a champion who can be on the front lines. Needs some protection from the rest of the team. So you're not going to max this first. Put 1 point in the skill, gives you enough to be able to dash, and that's really all that you need. And of course, skill your ultimate whenever it's available. So let's see if we can watch some more usage of the Sand Soldiers here. So like right there, the dash in with the E, repositions with the Q, auto-attacking right there, and LeBlanc gets shredded pretty hard right here. Not a great trade for LeBlanc. She is not that far behind. She's like 5,000 gold behind. But I don't know if this is the greatest matchup for LeBlanc just because she probably, in this matchup, she pretty much needs to kill the Azir player. Anyway, down here, we had another long-range arrow hit on Misfortune, and then I followed that up with the Light Binding, easy to hit with the Ash Arrow. So we're going to pick off that kill on Misfortune, and now we're going to look to try and finish off the Alistar player as well. Now, I missed the easy binding there, but I do hit the double shield onto Ash, and that's going to give her plenty of health to survive that. Rek'Sai picks up the kill, and so we get the double kill in that lane pretty easily. Again, it's hoping that Azir is holding a lot of pressure here mid, and Jax is just running crazy up in top lane. Jax is snowballed pretty far ahead of the Kled player. I have no idea why he's just standing here though. Take the blue buff, dude. Go kill the Gromp or something. Don't just stand there. Do something with your time. Time is super valuable in League. You should never just be standing around not doing anything. So we also get a Cloud Dragon as well, and that's a nice pickup for our team. Really do like the Cloud Drake speed with that extra movement speed. It's so noticeable. Much easier to dodge, poke, and hit people on the enemy team with your own poke when you've got that bonus movement speed running. I actually had just quick little side anecdote here. I had a game, not this one, but another game on another day where there was a Misfortune on the enemy team, and their team took 2 early Cloud Drakes, and she was like impossible to hit with Strut passive plus the double clouds. Anyway, we do have a fight right here. So we're going to see the Emperor's Divide come out there. Not really needed to get the kill, but another nice barrier usage from our Azir player. So he does pick up another kill there. 2-0-2 on the game right now. Alistar, again, continuing to fail his map awareness test as he just walks into the middle of our jungle with not really any of his allied champs around him. So I'm going to bind him, and we're just going to look to try to pick off this kill. Alistar does not have his ult up, so we're going to see him continuing to just try to run, get slowed by Lux, and he's going to get picked off there as well. Meanwhile, that was going on. There was a separate fight with Azir in mid, and this is an Azir video, so let's go back and watch this, shall we? Alright, so here's Azir. He's got the Sand Soldiers. Let's slow it down to half speed, so he's going to dash in right there. Auto attack, Misfortune dies. So now Kled is right here as well. So look, he's going to reposition the Sand Soldiers right here. 3 of them dash forward, auto attack, and that's going to be enough to pick that off. So yeah, you can't fight Azir when he has the Sand Soldiers up and running. You just need to clear out and fight in an area where he doesn't have his Sand Soldiers, because he can out-trade almost anyone as long as those Sand Soldiers were up. If you watch that fight, the Misfortune tanked, there were 3 Sand Soldiers there, and she tanked like 3 straight auto attacks, and then Azir dashed forward, repositioned the Sand Soldiers, used them against the Kled player, and he was just standing there, like, trying to trade auto attacks when Azir had 3 Sand Soldiers on the ground. It's like it's not going to work, especially not when Kled's 1-3 and Azir's 4-0-2. Like that's just not a winning matchup. So just as you don't fight Heimerdinger right next to his turrets, do not fight Azir right next to his Sand Soldiers. Try to, you know, catch him off guard or try to like disengage and then pick a fight, I don't know, half a screen over where he doesn't have his Sand Soldiers prepped, but just don't pick a fight where the terrain is so advantageous for him, because it's just not going to go very well. It's like right here, Alistar getting poked by the Sand Soldiers. We're going to see the Lux, the Ashe arrow hit, and then I'm going to look to ult. Nice dodge by the Alistar just to step aside. It was kind of an overly ambitious Lex Laser, let's be honest, and now way too aggressive here, I think, from our Rek'Sai player, who's just going to beat away a fairly needless death there, chasing after an Alistar who is 0-4 on the game. But the rest of the team has shown up, and we are still pushing on this tower. Yeah, over-aggressive play gets you in a lot of trouble, and was definitely not worth it for Rek'Sai to dive in there. This was worth it, though. Jax hops on Twitch. There's nothing he can do. Once Jax gets on top of him, he's going to die. And so we're going to be able to get out of that. And, oh, Azir going to go in. There's the Shurima shuffle. Dashes in, uses the ultimate to knock people back, and then looked for sure like he was about to die, but fortunately does get the double kill. And he may be... by the way, there's the Azir tower. There it is. He may have been running the mastery that gives you the health back on kills. I believe he almost certainly is, because he's running precision for his dominant rune there. So yeah, gets the health back on the first kill. That's just enough to keep him alive. Really risky play, but flashy, and it did work. So picks up 2 more kills there. We aren't able to get the tower, but you know, we're continuing to kill them. We have control of the map. There's another dragon spawning soon, and we should be in good shape to get. Oh, that's the Azir tower going down. Also, Jax still lurking around in the jungle, but he's going to hop on LeBlanc there, gets the stun. He does have that red buff running, and he's not going to be able to pick this off. But, yep, LeBlanc's still juking him, burns his flash. Again, when you're this far ahead, this is really not what you want to be doing, running around 1v3ing in the enemy jungle. Just an invitation to get picked off. Like, I'm not there, Ashe is not there. Not a good fight to be taking on. LeBlanc is not worth that much money. Jax would be doing better to be like split pushing a side lane or just doing something else. But it looks like we are going to have a chance to maybe get this LeBlanc player, so Rek'Sai cleans it up. But yeah, I don't think that was the best use of time right there. And here we go. See, Azir takes a nice angle, uses the Emperor's Divide, shoving back Misfortune. She is not able to escape, and now everybody hops on Kled. He's going to get bursted down. And so it ends up going really well for my team. But hey, my team's 10,000 gold ahead. There's almost nothing we can do that's going to result in a bad outcome. So right there, I'm going to ult Twitch and almost, but not quite have enough damage to finish him off. He limps out of there with 90 health. If I had had one more AP item, if I'd gotten just enough gold to finish Ludens, he would have died there from the, or maybe, I don't know. Would have been closer at least. But anyway, still a good fight for us. We take the bot tower. Now we're going to take the mid inner turret, and we're so far ahead that there's not a lot that the enemy team can do at this point. They need us to make big mistakes. Like, at this point, they can't win the game. We can only lose the game, if that makes sense. But right here, we're going to see an initiation, and yeah, Twitch... Not a good game for Jungle Twitch. Jungle Twitch has to snowball ahead. Didn't happen in this game. Early ganks were not effective. And you see the result here. 163. Absolutely no pressure anywhere on the map. Just not effective. Those stealth ganks just didn't work. So Alistar's going to look to engage right here. He's even going to ignite on the Azir, but there's no follow-up. And in fact, Jax is kind of warding people away here. So we're going to see the Alistar getting rooted there, tanking lots of damage on the Sand Soldiers. As soon as his passive runs out, he's going to die really, really quickly. And indeed, that's what happens right there. Now we're going to see Misfortune get popped as well. And ooh, rough game for the bot lane on blue team's side. 0-6-0-5. Rough game for them. They fell behind early, and I mean, League's a snowball game. This is what happens sometimes when you fall behind. So we're just continuing to mop up the base. I mean, we've got an Ocean Drake, so we can keep pushing. Got that health and mana regen working in our favor. And like I said, the enemy team's far enough behind that there's not a whole lot that they can really do at this point. So just hit the towers, escort the minions. This is actually bad from us. We're hitting 2 different towers at once. Focus on one of the towers. Don't split your attacks. Doesn't matter here, but just kind of a general good note. And over here, we're going to see more shenanigans. Rek'Sai is going to get knocked into the fountain and just barely survives that. Does in fact get finished off there. I'm going to go ahead and root that Kled player and then ult him. So that's going to clean up another kill. Azir is still getting more attacks with the Sand Soldier. Picks up another kill on Alistar. So that's going to run his scoreline to 10-0-5. And it's going to make this look like a really incredible Azir game. I mean, it wasn't bad or anything, but it wasn't nearly as good as that scoreline would indicate. So we do wrap this one up in quick fashion in 23 minutes. with a 27-6 kill score on the game, and then Twitch leaves the game because he's frustrated. So not the best game ever. Like I said, didn't turn into that competitive of a match, but I really haven't seen much Azir. He's one of the champions who didn't exist back when I played the game before, so I did want to grab a video, just do a quick demonstration of how to play him. Do not build Rod of Ages on Azir. Seriously, this is not the item. As I understand it, the build is Nashor's into Morel and Amakan is kind of the standard build, and then from there you can go into a Death Cap, you can go into Zanya's, something like that, but Rod, no. Just do not build Rod of Ages, even though Azir ends up with 10k gold on the game. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, hope you're having a great week. See you soon, take care.